Hello guys, hope you're doing really well, and this is an interview with Adam White from Get French Football News. And listen, this is an exclusive interview and we want to provide more of these for you guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up something called a Patreon account. It's going to cost you £5 a month. If you want to support the channel, you don't have to. You can stick to the normal previews and reviews. But what we're going to be doing on that channel is doing exclusives. We have exclusive interviews lined up. We've got, it's sort of extra content, guys, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys. But it's content that we will need support with. So if you watch the square ball, it's a little bit like the extra ball. You know, if you watch Under the Cosh, it's like their extra provided content. So it'll cost you £4.99 a month to see loads and loads and loads of different, fresh and new content that we all have lined up, which we have been setting up for weeks now. So this is going to be an example of what you're going to see. You know, we've got this interview, but this sort of interview is something that we will be providing on our Patreon account, and that is where we're going to go from now on with these sort of interviews, because we want to take it that next level up. We want to bring all Leeds TV even further up. So just before the video, I just want to let you know about that, guys. This is the sort of content you'll see on that side of the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to All Leeds TV. Conor here, and we have a very special guest amidst the signing of JKA. Thank you for joining us, Adam, and we've got Adam on the show because we want to listen. We want all of your insight, Adam. Adam's a correspondent for the network on Ligue 1. So we want to get all your perspective on JKA. And I mean, how good of a signing is it, Adam, for Leeds United?
It's a really interesting one because it's actually very difficult to tell how good of a signing it is. In principle, he's a talented player, and for a championship team to sign him, given his pedigree at Paris Saint-Germain, at Monaco, and at Red Bull Leipzig, that's quite a coup, I suppose. But I wouldn't go quite as far as saying it outright just yet that it is a big coup, because there's a lot of sort of caveats to that sort of talent tag, if you like. He has been considered a long time talent in France. Came up for the youth ranks for the national side. But his form has been pretty fluctuating at club level for pretty much his entire career, and he hasn't really had a consistent run in sort of as a first choice player for any of those teams I just mentioned. So he's a very talented player, and potentially it's a brilliant signing, but potentially it could also go, wrong. So it's a really interesting one. But given Leeds' position, I expect them to get promoted this season. But as a championship team for now, it's potentially a brilliant signing.
Yeah, because I mean, the what we're missing at this moment in time, Adam, is someone who can finish. Now, this guy looks like, obviously, he's not prolific. We know that. I think he's got 12 goals in 42 for Leipzig. But in his career, he's been behind some seriously excellent centre forwards. So, would you say with Augustin, it potentially is a case of him not really being given the full reins of a striker role yet?
Yeah, I definitely would. I think, I think he's, like I said, he has been considered, a promising player in France for quite some time, but hasn't really found his, his sort of niche or his place in any particular side. At Paris Saint-Germain, he was a youth player, and PSG famously don't sort of give their youth products too much of an opportunity. Other players have broken through it and left, and the only youth player to really make any headway in the first 11 was Marriot. He's moved on already to Juventus, not out of lack of opportunities, but he has moved on. And a number of others went to the Bundesliga this year for quite big money, but they didn't really break into the PSG team. And Augustin was one of those. And for PSG, it looked a little bit sort of out of his depth when he came on, but only a teenage, as you said, in that team behind some seriously good players. And he sort of came on in later in league games and played a few cup matches and friendlies and stuff. So he never really got a chance at PSG and moved on to Leipzig. And even then, you mentioned his goal record at Leipzig. I think there are a number of sort of asterisks there in that he never was really first choice. He played in a lot of bigger games, and he did get a lot of minutes, but he never really had a consistent run. So a lot of those appearances will be sub appearances, and he was in and out of the team. So those 12 goals, I imagine the minutes per goal ratio is probably a little bit better than that. And at Monaco as well, a lot was expected when he came back this summer, but again, didn't really break into the side at all. And I only remember one really positive game, that was at Marseille in the Cup. So it'd be really interesting to see how he does get on when he gets a consistent run in the team, which I imagine he would at Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with his positives, we've seen already that he's, he seems to have natural finishing ability. From what we've seen, obviously every player looks good on YouTube, as I'm sure you know, Adam. but I mean, Has he got that? Could he? I mean, especially with him coming down to the second tier of English football, obviously we know the calibre of the Championship. We know that it's at a very high level, for any sort of second tier. How do you think he could fare? Do you think he's going to sort of take it like a duck to water, or do you think it's going to take quite a while for him to bed into this Championship division?
Yeah, I think it should suit him. The style of football in the Championship should suit him more than Ligue 1, to be honest. Ligue 1 is quite defensive league. Fullbacks don't get forward too much. And managers are genuinely pretty pragmatic, especially French coaches. So in theory, his sort of pace and power and finishing ability, sort of exacting finishing ability that he does possess, will get a little bit more space and a little bit more room to breathe in the Championship. You'd imagine he'd get more chances than he would have at PSG or Monaco in terms of chances in front of goal. And I think that his Bundesliga record is a good sign for Leeds United fans, because the Bundesliga is also a little bit more entropic. There's a little bit more space to move around in, and it's a little bit more sort of the hustle and bustle. There's a few parallels there, and I think his goal record, as I said, is probably a little bit better than it looks in the Bundesliga. And you have to say the Bundesliga is of a higher standard than the Championship. So I think the league is sitting really nicely. And as you said, it does look like he is a good finisher, and that's true. That's his main skill. If you're looking at his skill set, you're talking pace and finishing as a central striker. So I think, although Leeds might play teams that are going to be a little bit more defensive against them, I think that the style of football in the Championship could definitely suit his game.
And obviously, I mean, I've noticed it was on the Get French Football News Twitter. Actually, it was the handle said, I believe, quote me if I'm wrong, but there was a few questions on his attitude. Is that correct at the clubs that he's been at? Yeah,
it's a really interesting one, because you could argue that even though he does have this potential and he's been considered to be a player of potential for quite some time, he hasn't fulfilled it even, as he might have done even by this point in his career. He's only 22, but you look back to 2016 and he was part of the France under-19 squad that won the Euros, brilliantly won the Euros. He was player of the tournament in that tournament in a team that included Kylian Mbappe. So you can see his sort of pedigree at that sort of youth level. And he's top goal scorer as well in that tournament, and he moved on to the under-20 World Cup and sort of led France there, got 3 goals in that tournament, and actually played okay, but they didn't despite a very good team, didn't really pan out. And as he moved on in his career, and perhaps it's partly related to the lack of chances, but at Leipzig in particular, he was criticised by Ralf Rangnick, who was manager at the time, for poor attitude, and I think even as he was one of the players sort of singled out for coming back to pre-season a little bit unfit. And even Yusuf Poulsen, the striker at Leipzig, in an interview at the press conference before a game, sort of outwardly criticised him and said that his application in training wasn't as you would hope. And there are sort of murmurings that seems to be the case with him, that perhaps his sort of blossoming that people hoped would happen after that Euro under-19 tournament hasn't happened, partly because the chances he hasn't got any chances in first 11, but also because perhaps his attitude and application isn't what you would hope of a player developing and learning his trade at admittedly 3 very big clubs. Those are opportunities in themselves. He might not play in the team, but as much as you would like, but they're still pretty big opportunities for PSG, Monaco, Leipzig. So there is a concern over that attitude issue, and it'd be interesting to see how that pans out at Leeds and whether Marcelo Bielsa puts up with any rubbish from him. Yeah,
I mean that's why it's so interesting, Adam, because I mean we had a player about a year and a half ago now called Samu Saiz, and we let him go. And Saiz, the reason behind it was ultimately because of his attitude, and Bielsa wasn't having any of it. I mean, it's so interesting to say that, as you've said, with Augustin, it is one of those things where, I mean, do you think it's sort of potentially a tale where Augustin's come in and Bielsa could maybe mould him into a certain individual? Do you think that could be done with Augustin, or is he a bit of a lost cause attitude-wise?
I don't know. I think I'd probably have to lean towards the former there. I think, knowing Marcelo Bielsa from his time in France at Lille and at Marseille, particularly at Lille, his aim was to mould younger players. So at Lille, he completely tore up the squad and basically signed a host of youth players and young players. And at one stage, their oldest sort of senior player was sort of 27 at Lille, because he completely changed the team. It didn't work out, of course, but that's something that Marcelo Bielsa would be looking to do for sure. I would think with a player, and he will know Augustin to some extent from his time. I don't think they've ever crossed paths directly, but he will know a little bit about him from his years with Marseille and Lille. So I would definitely think that Bielsa will be erring towards the former, and that he will look to mould. I think he does. He's one of those managers that will look to mould pretty much every player because his ideas are so specific in the way he wants to go about things. So I think Augustin will definitely fall into that bracket. And he's still 22. And perhaps there's a scenario where he realises that his lack of attitude is perhaps the main contributor to his sort of lack of chances at clubs he would have hoped to get chances at. So he may see the error of his ways, if you like, and Bielsa will be looking I would imagine looking to help him to develop in that area.
And aside from his finishing, Adam, what other key attributes does he possess?
He's quite sort of powerful. He's quite sort of broad. He's very quick. He can play on the wing. He played at PSG when many of his games he came on in a wider role, but he's really a central striker, and he'll look to play on the shoulder. And he's finishing. I hasten to use the every French pacey striker is likened to Thierry Henry, and that's a big overstatement because we're nowhere near that, of course. But the style is similar in the way that he might look to open up his foot and bend one into the far corner. That sort of style of finishing. So I would argue that he's best as a number 9, but he could be used a little bit all over the front three if that's how Bielsa decides to play with him in the side. So I think he's got the attributes to do damage in the Championship. It'll be very interesting to see whether he can put them into practice.
Yeah, and I mean, how do you think it'll go, Adam? Because you've got an interesting analysis there, because you seem quite in the middle. You know that he's got serious talent and potential, but how do you see it going with him? Do you think that this is where he's going to make his mark under a coach who is renowned for improving youngsters and sort of getting them to the next level? Really, I mean, you look at our prime example, Calvin Phillips, who's now Gareth Southgate is coming to Leeds United games, and I can tell you for one, Adam, he was nowhere near that player before Bielsa came to this club, and there's so many more. Jack Harrison being one. What are your ultimate thoughts, Adam? Do you think that it will be a good signing for Leeds United?
I hope so. I think as a French football observer, it's an exciting one for me because, like I said, he's extremely talented. He's someone that we've talked about for quite some time. And he definitely has the potential to make a real success of it in this league and feasibly in the Premier League when you hope that Leeds go up at the end of the season. I imagine that there's a part of Bielsa's thinking here is he's not thinking about the final, not necessarily entirely thinking about the final 6 months of this season, but also looking towards next year in the Premier League, assuming Leeds do go up. So the attitude issue does bother me because that's something that has followed him around for a little while, and even in that sort of those youth teams, especially the France Under-20 World Cup, the Under-20 World Cup that he played in France, I watched a lot of him in that tournament, and there was a sense that the way he carried himself, it's not necessarily like a direct report, but from watching those games, he carried himself like he was the main man, and that can be a great thing if you can follow it through, but obviously that's a difficult thing to do, and that can bleed into arrogance or a misplaced sense of confidence, and that would be my concern, as you mentioned previously. So it's an exciting transfer, and I'd say I'm 60-40% positive about it. So I think that the style of it will help, as I mentioned, and for Leeds, given they're still a Championship team, it is a really impressive addition. And the fact that Bielsa convinced him to join as well is a big positive as well, because you would imagine those conversations would have gone something on the lines of, I can improve you, you're going to score goals here, we're going to be playing Premier League football, and I'm going to make you a better player, which is positive as well. But there are obviously a lot of caveats to that. So I'm mostly positive, but there's obviously a lot of warning signs there.
Are you surprised he's come down to the Championship, Adam?
I was surprised. I was maybe not. I think down to the Championship is maybe a little bit harsh, but I was surprised that he went to England at all. To be honest, I mean, a lot of French clubs actually sort of base their entire model on selling players to English teams because obviously the money there is ridiculous. And you look at the bottom half of Ligue 1 and Ligue 2, and one big transfer can make a club for 2 or 3 years. So I'm not surprised that he would have wanted to go there, and teams would want to sell players to the Championship. But the fact that it actually came about is quite a surprise, which suggests that there's something a little bit deeper than him just being a promising player, he's looking for a striker, and it being 2 + 2 = 4. I imagine that someone has identified him at the club I honestly don't know too much about Leeds scouting structure, but I imagine he's been identified either for a long time as a potential player, and the opportunity just arose, and they were a bit opportunistic in attempting to sign him, because obviously it didn't work out at Monaco. When given the way that Monaco started this season and ended last season, it looked like he was going to get quite a lot of minutes, and then they signed Weston Benyega and Sam Samani, and he hasn't really got any time in the team. So I think it's probably like opportunistic, but so I think it's an interesting one to see how it pans out.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time, Adam. This is Adam White from Get French Football News. I'll get it right. Yeah. And all his links will be in the description below, so make sure you check those guys out. Adam, thank you so much, and we'll see you later on.
No worries. Cheers.